Now, you thought plus 27 on block was funny, right? Isn't that a number, right? Isn't that just... maybe you guys can't see that. Let me zoom in for you. Maybe you can't see that one. Let me just get a little closer for you there. Maybe you couldn't see that one. Maybe you can't. Maybe that number is still too small. Hold on. Maybe that's still too small for you. Hold on. I got you. Maybe that number is still too small for you guys. So let me just. I got you guys. No, I got you. Don't worry. Oh no, I got you guys. In case that number was too small, I got you. Don't worry. Maybe you couldn't see that number before, right? Maybe you couldn't see the frame advantage on that move before, right? Just in case you guys couldn't see that. Maybe I just want to make sure you guys can see this number. Okay, everyone see this? Okay, good. Okay, yeah. That ain't right, man. All right, folks, we are back for more Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising action for you here, and so I just made this tier list, and you guys will probably saw this video yesterday. My guess is I'm going to upload these back-to-back days. But basically, patch 1.5 is coming out, and it is supposed to be a major balance list, right? And my guess is that it is going. I am optimistic, right? We talked about at the end of the tier list video that the Vayne patch was a step in the right direction in basically every way. But it was a little micro walk, you know. They're doing the triple drive rush. They want to do the micro walks to build that little bit of extra green there. I presume they're going to finish off that step they took with this patch. They're marketing it as a major patch. So I figured, let me see. Let's just me and I got some people in chat here too. We can definitely get some ideas from them. But it's what would be if I could decide what I wanted to get out of the patch. What I think what would be nice for the patch to look like. What would it look like, right? Now we're not going to talk about specific changes to every single character here because. I mean, honestly, that'll be a 1-hour video for someone who could make their points concisely. For me, that'll probably be a 3-hour video, so I'm not going to do that. What I want to do more so is going to do some universal, just talking about universal system mechanics first, seeing if they're going to change any of that, like what I would like them to change about that. And then maybe talk about, some of the best characters, some of the worst characters, right? And it's kind of... Because I think actually a lot of... I didn't really mention at the end of the tier list video, but a lot of the characters in this game, I think, are in a pretty decent spot, balance-wise, right? I think not a lot of them actually need nerfs or buffs that much, right? There's just a couple of standouts and a couple of standouts, right? And that's where things get get to be a problem. So, with that in mind, what do I want to do here? I guess let's look at this while we're here. Why not? While we talk about it, I was gonna say one of the things they could do, right? So if you are somehow not a player of Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, I guess is the only way you wouldn't know this. Brave counter. Let's talk about Brave counter first off for universal changes, right? Brave counter is pretty strong, right? It's pretty damn strong. Now, again, I made a video about this earlier, but I think Brave counter is very good. It is overpowered, right? But we have to be a little bit careful. You have to think about, if you're going to nerf Brave counter significantly, you have to think about all of the other offensive tools that might need to also be touched a little bit, right? So, since I don't want to think about the entire system too much, what is a nerf to Brave counter we could do in a vacuum and still have it be, in my opinion, not a problem, right? Making it less annoying, but making it a little bit more, still like a viable defensive option, right? Something that uses one of your, Brave points in this game are super important, right? So using one Brave point is a big deal. That's a very, very big resource expenditure, right? So, coward counter, yeah. So, I think one of the biggest things, right, is Brave counter is +6 on block. I'm very okay with it not being plus on block. I think it could be safe on block, right? I think I heard counter hit Brave counters move people further away in the patch, yeah. That's something. I think so. There's a couple of different changes. I don't think you should do all of these, but there's a couple of different changes. I think one, I think Brave counter could be -3 on block, right? Is that so bad? I feel like that's almost that kind of solves a lot of the problems anyway, right? If it's it's your turn, if you block someone's Brave counter, you can't kill them for it, but it's your turn. That's not so bad, right? A more significant nerf, possibly, might be if hard knockdown, if counter hit Brave counters didn't hard knockdown, right? That might be keep everything else the same, but just make it so even it doesn't matter if it's counter hit or not. You just kind of get thrown back like that. That's still, people still get good Oki even off of non-hard knockdown Brave counter, but that gets, the most egregious, your turn is now my turn shit out of the way, for the most part, I think, right? So that's definitely something. Give you an opportunity to regain neutral. If you want to have it, push someone to the screen and be even on block, kind of like the throw tech, the Akiway throw tech there, the throw button tech, he's kind of, bounce away from each other. If it's, a push block, basically, if it just pushes them to the other side of the screen, then maybe. But again, one of those changes, right? One of those changes, I think, is probably a good idea. I think Brave counter is quite strong, but I think it's also, one of the only defensive options available for a lot of characters in this game, right? Make the defense debuff even worse. That's an idea, GBH. If you want to make it so, even at 2 Brave points, taking penalties, and at 1, the penalty's even bigger, and at no Brave points, you just die. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, that makes the game even swingier, right? Which is something that some people don't even necessarily like about it right now, right? +2 on block, no hard knockdown, and slow down versus spot dodge. I like that. Making a punishable on spot dodge, that's another one. I was going to mention that too. Punishable on spot dodge is not a bad idea, right? But again, it's like, if you make it -3 on block, punishable on spot dodge, and counter hit brave counters no longer give a hard knockdown, that's too much, I think, right? Pick like 1 or 1.5 of those, right? Go like a half measure on one and do the other. I think it's probably not a bad idea, right? Brave counter is good, but I think you got to be careful about, you know, assuming that they nerf all of the offense in the game, then maybe, sure. Minus on block, punish on spot dodge, but BP penalty decreased from 2050 to 1030. That's also an option. Again, like that, I always worry about making very large system mechanic changes like that. That's why I want to be a little bit hesitant, I think, with the brave counter change, and then try and, you know, maybe tune down certain other specific character options more so. The system mechanics oftentimes have insane, like very, very wide-reaching consequences, even if it might seem something small, you know. Like just making it, you know, like making it punishable on spot dodge might even be a really big deal. You never know. Getting knocked down from it seems a little crazy. I think of all of those options, I think I like the idea of counter hit, brave counter, doesn't hard knockdown. I think I like that more than all of them, right? Because then it's just not that big of a swing to brave counter someone. You're still in the corner, and yes, you are like plus usually. Like a lot of options could lose to backdash, for example, out of it, right? It kind of like it resets back to not even neutral at that point. It resets back to a slightly disadvantageous situation for the guy who brave countered, right? So I could see that. As far as other universal mechanics, I think obviously I don't think Raging Strike needs touching. I think that's fine, right? I don't think like, I don't think 6XL at this point is, you could make it even more minus on whiff, right? But I'm not so certain that that's like super necessary. -25 on whiff is, it will make it easier to punish. It'll make it worse, right? I think now at this point though, it's not really that 6XL universally is like really good. I think it's that some 6XLs are standouts, right? We can talk about, for example, like this guy didn't get his 6XL range nerfed at all in the patch, right? So like maybe, you know, just like tuning down some of the more standout 6XLs. Like I don't think anyone's gonna argue that, like, I don't know. Hers, I was gonna say Lodiba, but hers leads into a 50-50, but like at least the range on Lodiba's 6XL is not a problem to anyone, I don't think, right? Like it's not like her 6XL is not a problem in that sense. It's just that some of them still, like Beatrix also has like a really long 6XL, right? 6XH, she do something for everyone. Some characters 6XH is just straight useless. Yeah, but you gotta think, like, you can't just say like, okay, everyone 6XH is good now. Because there might have been characters who had like, their 6XH wasn't that good, but they had a bunch of other strong tools, and you know, you can't just like, just buff things across. Again, that's why system changes are so scary, right, for balance. You can't just buff one thing across the board and then assume that it's gonna work out for you, right? Yeah, it's still a light button, but it is also, it is like, it's a little minor neutral skip, basically, right? I think 6XL is probably fine, right? I think the only real, like, sweeping... Okay, no, never mind, I lied. This is not really a system change. I was gonna say, the only real sweeping system change I want to see is, like, brave counters get a little bit weaker, I think. I don't think it should be, like, completely gutted. I think it should get weaker, though. Again, one of those three things, right? Probably my favorite is probably no hard knockdown on counter hit, but, you know. But it seems like that's not what they did anyway, but that's what I would have wanted them to do. Anyways, the other thing, and I've been talking about this a lot, actually, in lots of videos recently if you've been watching, I hate how this game handles reversals and supers. It is so dumb, in my opinion, right? There are so many reversals and so many DPs and so many supers that are not easily punishable, or in some cases, not punishable at all, depending on spacing, depending on situation, right? That's dumb. This is not really a universal change. It's not like a system mechanic that everyone has access to, but it should be across the board, you know. Bub's SBA is -55 on block, right? That shouldn't be exceptional. If your SBA gets blocked, you should go to hell. Right? You know, when you do wake up super, you are taking a risk. You are betting, I think you're gonna do something unsafe, you're gonna commit to a button, not a safe jab, something like that. And I'm spending 100 meter to bet on the fact that I think you're making a bet, I'm making a call out. If I win, you take like, you know, 5,000 damage and lose a brave point. It's a very big deal. If I lose, I should go to hell. I should die. I should be obliterated, right? I'm fine with Vera MDP. I still disagree. It is her install, but he gets a lot of stuff out of install, right? No super, no break, no DP, no nothing should be. And again, it's not just that they should be. So, example, like you know, Charlotte DP is -8. That's stupid. That's dumb. That should never be in the game, right? This DP is like Grand DP is like minus. Oh god, I forgot this thing gets louder every time it loops. I don't know why that happens. It's something weird about YouTube looping. Don't worry about it too much. But yeah, Charlotte DP should make -8, right? DP's like Grands is minus like 30 or something, 36. If the whole thing whiffs, right? That should be universal. That should be the case, right? Why is Belial's DP -12, right? Like, why are any DPs not absurdly easy to punish on block? Right? And the idea of like, oh, we just spot dodge them. Like somebody just, if you spot dodge them, the more plus. I don't think that should be the case either, right? Like Bub's, what's going on, Blast? Bub's SSBA, for example, right? Super easy to punish in theory to spot dodge it, but even that I think is so dumb, right? Like, you should be able to, if you guess right that someone's gonna use a reversal, you should down back and it should be over. You should down back and you should win. If you guessed right they were gonna use a reversal, you should down back and it should be over, right? Yeah, same with Cag, same with Lancelot's UDP is an overhead, the second hit. It's not hard to block, but it just shouldn't be the case, right? There shouldn't be any amount of thought in punishing a DP besides, are they gonna DP or not? If you block the DP, and you should only have to block them, they should be like minus 100 and die universally. And by the way, right, because some people, you know, they like to, like, Ladiva is actually a very big culprit of this too. By the way, Ladiva's SBA is minus 11 on block. Ladiva can't she can't close H punish her own SBA, right? Ladiva's command grab supers, if you don't come down with an aerial, on Ladiva's command grab supers, they're unpunishable because they're minus 49 on whiff, and most jumps are like 45 to 46 frames. If you don't come down with an aerial, so if you back jump, for example, you don't get a punish. That's stupid. They're frame 0. Like, you have to jump them or back. Like, I think if you jump Ladiva's command grab in any way, shape, or form, like, so the example I give is Zangief in Street Fighter 6, right? When his level 3 whiffs, he goes, you know, my loyal fans, and he goes, like, he sits there like, my finisher, oh no! And he's sitting there for like 3 seconds, just being like, how did I miss my level 3? Oh god, not like that. Like, that should be, Ladiva should do the same thing. She just sit there and just be like she like whiff her and be like, what? Huh? Like, looking for you in her arms, like she's trying to hug you and you weren't there. And she like sits there for like 180 frames or something, right? You just kill her, right? So I'm not, like, it's not just this. I think this is a universal problem almost. It's not just like a couple of top tiers, right? That is, if anything, actually that is probably by far and wide my most. They could keep Brave Count the same for all I care. DPs and reversals are handled stupidly in this game and shouldn't be handled in this way. Okay. Moving on. Well, okay, last thing. It makes it also, it's not just the people who are really safe, like Vera, Install, or Charlotta DP or something. It makes it double worse, double stupid, double plus ungood for the guys who actually have, like, normal punishable supers, right? Like, you know, Bubs' super is minus 55, but, like, most people, that's an outlier thing, right? Like, why is that the case? So it's dumb. I think it should be changed, right? You just, all reversals, you just down back, and then you kill them. You get, like, 7 years to walk up, make a sandwich, and then kill them, right? Or if they make grabs beat DPs, well, you can't meaty grab people in this game, so that you have to universally change the system mechanics like that, right? What about Loanes? I mean, Loanes is bad. Yeah, that's different, right? Loanes is just bad. Okay. Is there any other, like, big sweeping change I want to make across the whole cast? So, okay, U skills are a big thing, right? You can't meaty grab and strive. Wait, there's throw invincibility and strive? I don't think I knew that. Interesting. U skills are interesting, right? Neutral skip U skills. I think for the really, okay, I didn't know that. Interesting. For the most, okay, so it's maybe a little bit. For the most part, I think a lot of U skills in this game are okay, right? Like, even the big neutral, even like a Sora's dash punch, even like, you know, I don't know, like Narmaya's U transient, Narmaya's U flip. I don't know, like, I'm just looking at, like, Loane's little Junkrat wheel, Grand Boot, right? Like, most of them are fine, right? I think U skills that go into full. I don't think U skills that go full screen and combo start should be safe on block and not scale combos at all. Well, the scaling, you can maybe make them scale a little bit more, but I think a lot of U skills are either punishable on block and like punishable on block, or reactable and spot dodgeable, right? And punishable on spot dodge. I guess, you know what, we can do something for the ones that you have to spot dodge. I've been talking to my fellow Sora's main. Some of them thinks dash punch should be plus. Are they stupid? No, yeah, okay, no. Okay, don't get me wrong. Most U skills shouldn't be buffed either, right? I guess maybe for some of the ones you spot dodge, it can be a little bit difficult actually to find the timing to spot dodge them. Like, if you spot dodge them too early or late, right, it's kind of hard to get the punish. Whereas the ones that are, like, punishable on block, you can always punish them consistently, right? So I could see, make the ones that you're intended to spot dodge, like Ladiva U Lariat, like Sora's U dash punch, like Zeta, Arves, right? Make those ones maybe more minus on spot dodge, right? I like that idea, right? Make them, again, even if you do it's the same thing as the reversal take, right? If you do the right thing, you should get rewarded, right? If you spot dodge the move, you should get a punish, right? Yeah, so I understand that it's just because of how Sora's, how I saw it in the chat, so I just took my brain over. How spot dodge works, right? So you can spot dodge many different times, things like that, but, like, just make them make it so that the worst possible spot dodge is still, like, -6. You know what I mean? It's like the worst possible spot dodge is still -6. They're in your face, you can punish. And if you spot dodge better, you get better punishes. Not if you spot dodge incorrectly, you don't get a punish at all. And then if you spot dodge better, you might get a punish, right? That I can vibe with. Besides that, U skills kind of, in my opinion, they kind of are this game, and I don't mind them too much, right? Now, there are outliers, and we'll get to them, right? But in general, right, neutral skip use skills, I don't really mind that much. I actually don't think they're that big of a problem, right? But yeah, the ones you can spot dodge, again, if you spot dodge them, you should punish. Plain and simple. And if you spot dodge better at better times, you get better punishes. That's it. I think that's it for like general, really wide sweeping stuff, right? I guess we can talk, if I remember anything else, we'll get back to it. But I think for now we can talk about some characters. And again, I made the tier list yesterday because I wanted to use it as a reference for this, right? I want to look at this, and I can get talking to characters, and I can talk about who I think, you know, some really specific stuff. I guess, okay, let's talk about Nier right away, right? So, before I talk about what I think they should actually do to Nier, right? Here's the thing. Nier is... Even though Nier is probably the best character in the game, in my opinion, but I don't think there's a titanic gap between like Belial and Seox and Siegfried, and honestly, even like Djeeta, Lance. Like I don't think it's like Nier's like not in her own universe, right? I think that's a little silly. But he's the best character in the game, and everyone hates this character. Everyone hates this character, right? So my expectation, actually, I fully expect to read the patch notes and be like, Nier did not deserve all of this, right? I expect her to get over-nerfed. Now, while I say that, I say over-nerfed like it's, you know, it's unnecessary. I think the smartest thing for Arxis to do PR-wise is to over-nerf Nier. They need to, even if everything else of the patch is amazing, if Nier gets nerfed from top 1 to top 1 again, people are going to riot, right? So I think the smartest thing for Cygames is to actually like straight up kill her, right? I'm talking, you know, if the patch notes say Nier no longer has access to death, you know, like that, people would rejoice about that, right? So, and then build her back up slowly over it's like, you know, a more reasonable character over the course of several patches, right? Yeah, exactly, Zato harass, right? I think that's probably the smartest PR move that Cygames should do. Even though I don't think she needs that, like, I don't think she needs all of that. I think it's the smartest thing they can do. Now, what do I think will make Nier a more reasonable character? You know, put her somewhere in, like, this range versus this range, right? There's a lot of stuff, right? There's so many good things that are strong about Nier. You can take a lot of different things away, right? But I've seen lots of people talk about, you know, make death stay away for longer when you kill it. Yeah. But I think there's a couple of things that to me stick in my head, right? One, Nier is the only character in the game that has, besides Ladiva, I guess, right? But Ladiva pays very, very heavily for this privilege, right? Nier is the only character in the game that has a looping 50-50. That's it, right? She hits you in mid, and it's in mid screen, does like 4,000 to 5,000 damage, 6,000 damage, loops you into a 50-50. That if you get hit by that, you go into another 50-50, and you go into another 50-50, and it's insane, right? The character Nier is the only character in the game that can do this. Ladiva can kind of do this in the corner in a way because she has command grab, but even then, obviously, like her 50-50 is way weaker than Ladiva's because she's taking a lot more risk to impart her 50-50 onto the game, right? But that's also like Ladiva having that is why everything else about her sucks, right? Nier has that, which should probably go away. And was it Zenkos? There was a Nier that told me this make JU. Let me pull up a little. JU's the little air fire there, you know, the thing she uses for the overhead in the 50-50. Make Nier's JU a mid. You know, I'm talking like that's it, right? Make Nier's JU a mid. Fucking problem solved on that front, right? Yo, Slay, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Right, it's this move right here, right? Make this move crouch blockable. Oh, that one move. That is a huge nerf to Nier already. Now we're not done, right? We're not done. Why don't you use another J button instead? This is the one that times it out for the overhead, basically. You can't get an unfuzzyable overhead without this, right? The delay on this is why you can't fuzzy her overhead, right? This is why you can't fuzzy her high lows because it's delayed, right? At that point, you can just like block high for a second, then block low. Yeah, Nez's right? You can fuzzy the overhead if this is a mid, right? Like Zenko said this, and I was like, you're a genius, right? This is a great idea. Just make JU a mid. This like has to happen, right? Nier, you can't make Nier a balanced character when she is the only character in the game that loops 50-50s over and over and over, right? Besides that, we're not done, right? You know, I guess you know, we'll use this for visual because I can't do the Nier loops because I don't know what the combos are, so we'll just use Granblue Dust Loop here for discussion, right? That's not it though. That's not it, right? The other thing, Nier has the best ultimate skill in the game, the two best ultimate skills in the game, probably, right? Not this one. Ultimate Death Reversed and Ultimate Fatal Waltz, right? Now, let's talk about this one first. This is my choice for probably best ultimate skill in the entire game, and it's not even close, right? 13 frames, huge disjoint, at least 60% of your life on hits. Unpunishable on spot dodge. Plus 27 on block. Death is invincible during this, like he is during all use skills. what the fuck were they thinking when they made this move? Like, what in God's name is this? Can someone tell me what this move... I don't know what this move is. This is... We're talking about Sora's... Okay, remember earlier when I said, like, Sora's dash punch? Like, if it was plus on block, that would be absurd. What are they talking about? Now, this move is that, but you can't even spot dodge it. And it leads to just about as much damage. And it's disjointed. What are we doing, right? This move just needs to go to hell, right? Like this needs to, I don't know, this needs to be like punishable on block or something. Like, I don't even know, like this, or like minus on block, or I don't know, like something about this has to get like significantly worse, right? The startup has to be like 50 frames. Like this move is 7 times as good as it should be. This is every other ultimate skill in the game besides this one looks like a joke. In Zeta U Spear, a complete joke. You know, whatever you want to think of is a joke compared to this move, right? I don't even know how to nerf this move because it is so far and away above the power level of every other move in the game that, like, I want to, like, we remove it? I don't know. Like, you make this, like, I actually don't know. I actually don't know. Do you pull Vegeta from the gacha or something? Yeah. I actually don't. Does refund gauge on hits? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, it does. What do you do about this, right? Like, I can't think of a way to, like, move the, like, yeah, outside making this cost, like, 6 death stocks or something, right? But that's ridiculous, right? You don't want to do that. But, like, okay, here's the thing. The most egregious things about this move, right? Let's think about them piece by piece. I'm like looking at this move and getting angry, right? It shouldn't be plus 27 on block. It should probably be safe on block, right? It should probably be like -3 on block or something, right? I mean, to be fair, this is the speed of startup. Most ultimate skills that are this fast. Let me I'm gonna bring up another example here. Let's go to like Nier, right? Which one is his? Yeah, see that? No, it's a little faster, right? Most ult skills that are this fast are punishable on block. Okay? Where's Anila's? How fast? Anila's a little bit slower, I think, if I remember correctly. No, yeah, 11. Okay. So, most ult skills that are around that fast are punishable on block, right? Yeah, I mean, Jita Eureka's another... We can talk about Jita Eureka. Jita Eureka is a problem, for sure. Right? Ultimate Vorpal Blade? Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, like, this one probably also shouldn't be safe on block, to be fair, right? But yeah, like, this should have to be safe on block or punishable on block, right? If you want to go with a good PR move, you make this punishable on block. This is probably okay if it's safe on block, right? But it can't be plus 27, okay? It has to either be, you make it a little bit slower and make it safe on block, or make it punishable on block, or keep it the same speed, make it punishable on block. Maybe okay, make it a little faster, maybe. Make it punishable on block. I don't know. But it can't be plus 27, fellas. We can't do this, right? We can't do this. This is, what the hell is this, right? You know? So, like, one thing, I would say make this just safe on block, right? You can use it from half screen. I mean, it pulls you towards her, Exelion. Don't remember, right? When she does this, it pulls you at her, right? So it being punishable on block wouldn't matter. She pulls you right into her face when she does this, right? And yeah, maybe, okay, if you're gonna make it safe on block or punishable on block, it's kind of like how they made Beatrix's riding free. They reduced the pushback, increase the pull in on this, right? Make it punishable on block and make it so that it brings you, like, right in her face if you block it, essentially. So you can guaranteed punish it. We are doing a 1.5 wish list, yeah. This move is just too good, okay? Now, you thought plus 27 on block was funny, right? Isn't that a fucking number, right? Isn't that just? Maybe you guys can't see that. Let me zoom in for you. Maybe you can't see that one. Let me just get a little closer for you there. Maybe you couldn't see that one. Maybe you can't. Maybe that number is still too small. Hold on. Maybe that's still too small for you. Hold on. I got you. Maybe that number is still too small for you guys. So let me just. I got you guys. No, I got you. Don't worry. Oh no, I got you guys. In case that number was too small, I got you. Don't worry. Maybe you couldn't see that number before, right? Maybe you couldn't see the frame advantage on that move before, right? Like, just in case you guys couldn't see that, maybe I just want to make sure you guys can see this number. Okay, everyone see this? Okay, good. Okay, yeah. That ain't right, man. Which move is that? Oh, a 2-3-6U, right? That ain't right, man. For a move that does so much chip and also leads to a big combo on hits, you can't jump this, right? You can't spot dodge this. It's active for 77 frames. 77 frames. It's active for 77 frames. You can't jump this to punish her because for most instances it'll catch you. You can't spot dodge this. It's only 20 frame startup. It's plus 80 on block. It does a lot of damage. It's a lot of chip damage. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to do about this move. Again, like, this one. So, Death Reverse. We made it a lot less safe. I think this kind of has to be plus because of the way it's structured, right? Because like the whole, like, you can't make this not plus with this animation, right? It will be useless if it wasn't plus. This has to be plus, right? The whole point of this is block pressure, basically. This move, if it's gonna be plus 80 on block, like this should not have a 20 frame startup, right? Like, Nier should only be able to do, like, Nier should not be able to do this off of almost that. This should be like, you know, very specific hard knockdown setups, and that's it. Or so this would be like 50 or 60 or like, I don't know, like, it sounds insane. It could be like 50 or 60 frame startup for real, right? Could be spot dodgeable. I mean, if you'd have to make it so like not active though, right? To make like, you'd have to make this to remove 3/4 of the active frames on this thing. It probably wouldn't be plus 80 anymore either. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Because like, so the thing is, like, Nier, by the way, could still get, like, this is a plus 93 hard knockdown here, by the way. So if Nier had a 60 frame use skill, she could still use it, right? And yeah, like, he has a ton of plus frames, but like this move is just ridiculous, man. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to try to get at too. The meaty setup with this is the most insane part, right? Because the nice thing about this move is it is pretty short, right? It's hard for Nier to use this outside of, like, right in your face, basically. Outside of meaty setups, right? So that's why I think that the answer to this move is make it start up way slower, right? Like maybe 30 is more, like maybe 30 or something is more reasonable, yeah. But like this move cannot be 20 frame startup and also plus 80 on block and also active 77 frames, right? One of these things has to give. And the most reasonable, and you can't even hit death, that's right. In use skills, death is invincible all the time, right? Death has no hurt box. So like the most reasonable thing here is probably just to make this a lot slower. Like again, 30 frame startup sounds stupid, 40 frame startup sounds stupid, but it's, do I have to pull up the image again? Do you really need me to do this again? Right? Like, yeah, 40 frame startup sounds stupid, but do you need me to do this again? Do you have to do this again? Right? Like, I know 40 frames sounds like a lot of startup. Do we need to do this again, though, guys? Do I gotta show you this again? Evo is, yeah, in a minute, actually, here, so we'll get back to that in a second here, yeah. But yeah, like, those, so, okay, those are two really big things, obviously. Like, Nier's ultimate skills are by far best in class. Those two moves are so far and away above every other ult skill in the game that's crazy. Need to be touched, not a little bit, a lot, right? Like a lot. Like you have to remove like 30 frames of frame advantage from this and like double the startup of this or something. Or like fundamentally rework them in some way, right? And then her JU should be a mid, right? Now, honestly, you do those, Nier is still quite strong. I think like that could be like a reasonable nerf for Nier, right? Now, of course, she has her, she has, of course, some very good normals, right? You might want to like touch these a little bit, maybe, right? But like, if you do that, Nier, I think she gets to be like, you know, she may be like, I don't know, drop, like probably on this, probably like what, is like somewhere here or like here or something, right? It's still quite good. She'll be very good, right? Now, realistically, they're probably going to do way more than that, or at least they should probably do way more than that. And yeah, you can probably like still, yeah, you could far H. It's the you know, this button, right? This button and this button, right? Or like the real big ones that are pretty stupid. You can like touch these a little. You can make like one thing, for example, you can make you can give her some bad neutral, right? Or sorry, some bad normals is what I meant to say, right? You can maybe like slow this down one, you know. You could make her close M. One big thing, if Nier did not have a 6 frame close M, right? Her ward off 6XL will be a lot worse on average, right? There's a lot of things you can touch, right? That you can make this 7 frames. You can make like this 8 frames or like a little bit smaller. You can make this a little bit smaller. I mean, if you want to be, you can make this like non-cancelable if you want to be crazy, but I don't think that it's okay. You make this like a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit slower, a little bit more minus on block, right? You can like these 3 normals, far H, 2M, and 2U probably all be touched. But again, I think like the truly absurd thing about Nier a lot of the times is her looping 50/50s and her U skills. Her normals are also very good, right? Don't get me wrong, right? So you can touch them a bit, but my like. What I actually think needs to happen is she needs to lose her 50/50, and she needs to have her U skills toned down a ton. If Nier had the crazy normals, but she didn't have that 50/50 and she didn't have the U skills, she'd still be good. I don't think it needs to happen. Now again, I think the smart thing, not my own wish list, but I think the smart thing is that Nier should probably get shot completely in the head, right? And just like, you know, sent all the way down to hell and then built up slowly, but I don't know if they're gonna do that. I kind of expect them to. I'm kind of like, because I think if they know what they're doing, they should, but we'll see. All right, that's Nier, right? Siegfried is a lot quicker to talk about because Siegfried is a lot simpler, right? Actually, we probably should get back to Evo. Yeah, we'll get back to Evo. Talk about Siegfried in a sec. We're watching Evo at the same time here, guys. YouTube, I'm going to cut this out. Don't worry. You're not going to have any big breaks. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so you're talking about Siegfried, right? Siegfried is way simpler. Gamera lost to Ryazo 0-2. I mean, Ryazo's pretty crazy, but that's still really impressive. Goddamn, good stuff to Ryazo. We're talking about Siegfried next. He's a lot simpler, right? I mean, Nier has all this different bullshit. Siegfried does too much damage, and EX Fireball is too good. Plain and simple, right? Siegfried does too much damage, and EX Fireball is too good. So now call me crazy. This is a bit of a, maybe this is a little bit much. I don't think so, though. I really don't. What if? Thoughts? Because I think it's so important. Siegfried needs to keep it. His Fireball is really good, but I think he should be able to use it as a combo tool, as a pressure tool to be plus on block. I think that's all normal, right? But, what if? Hold me for this. Hold me for a second here. Wait, hold on for a second. Don't hold me. I mean, I like that, but don't hold me. What if this move? What if you just, like, roll through it? Thoughts? Like, what if, even though it looked like it hit all the way to the ground, what if, like, there was just no hitbox on the bottom? Thoughts? You know? Like, I mean, Zoe's Dragon is like this. It doesn't look like you can roll Zoe's Dragon, Zoe's U Dragon. It looks like it should hit the floor. It doesn't. What if I just roll through this, right? Boom. Now, it's still a very good pressure tool, a very good combo tool, right? Just let me roll through it so it doesn't just win him neutral for free, right? So I think that's, like, quite easy and simple, and suddenly, like, that is, like, already, that's, like, a pretty big bump to Siegfried. The other thing, I mean, this is more so, like, he just, make it faster, that would help too, yeah, but I think I'll just let me roll it is already, like, make it faster, let me roll it. These are all great suggestions, right? The other thing is, the guy just, like, does too much damage, right? Like, so, Siegfried has 17,000 health. Why does Siegfried have 17,000 health, right? Only 2 characters in the game have 17,000 health. It's him and Soras. Now, Soras is a gigantic buff grandpa man. Why does Siegfried have it? Because he's supposed to use his HP, right? Siegfried is supposed to, and Soras too, to, like, tank through with armor and stuff like that, right? Siegfried is supposed to use his HP for 5U, right? 1,000 health for 1 stack of manigans. However the hell you say that, right? Twitch, do you say ab break? Yeah. So, he doesn't need this, though. This is supposed to buff his damage in exchange for his health. But his baseline damage is like top 1, or top 2, or top 3 or something in the corner, right? So, nerf his damage significantly, like a lot, like how they did to Beatrix, right? And then he can actually use 5U, then he's a more interesting character, and it means he actually has to set up a little bit to fully get going, right? He might have to give up a couple of hits, or make a combo a little bit shorter to buff the damage of his next combo, right? Give up some Oki, give up some combo damage to get more damage on the next hit, right? That seems fair to me. Right? Besides the fact that, you know, it's just nice for him to use the move that he gave him that he never uses because he doesn't have to. He also just, like, even this didn't exist at all. He just does too much damage, I think. Like, he's very simple. Siegfried just outstats the rest of the cast, right? He does too much damage, his moves are too big and too good, and that's it, mostly, right? And his fireball's insane. That's the one thing, like, unique thing about him, right? So I think, like, just one, like, if you did the bare minimum of, like, good stuff, I think, like, the bare minimum nerfs where Siegfried is, like, acceptable now, I think, is let me roll through Fireball and nerf his damage, like, significantly, like how they did to Beatrix, right? Like, nerf it, like, 20% or something, or, like, whatever they did to Beatrix, like, I'll have what she's having, right? But then, if you want to go a little further, right, there are a couple of things about him that are, like, pretty funny, still. His 6XL could be a little smaller. It's one of the standout ones, for sure, right? And then a lot of his, like, this could be a little smaller. The big thing, probably, is, like, if you want to do one more thing to Siegfried, this is a little big. This is a little big. This match, okay, we'll go back in a second here. This is a little bit big, you know? This could be a little smaller, it could be a little bit less active. This is very hard to spot dodge, actually, right? Like, this is actually quite hard to spot dodge. It's active for, what is it, like 20 frames? Yeah, and spot dodge is like 29. It's not super easy to spot dodge this thing, right? You could nerf this a little bit, make it a little bit less active, make it a little bit smaller. But again, realistically, I think the most important things, we'll get back here in a second, yeah, we're gonna get back to the match. His damage needs to go way down, and he needs to be able to roll through Fireball. If you do that, honestly, like I think that's it. Siegfried is probably still strong, but fine at that point. For real, you know? Like I'm not talking about nerf, I don't want to nerf people into the ground here. I want to nerf these characters, right? To be more in line with, like, these characters, you know? Like, or like these characters, right? Like, it's like, you know, like these, like getting them down to, like, you know, the Cag, Grimnir, Beatrix, Bubs, 2B, like that kind of power level. That's fine. I'm okay with that. If like the best characters in the game sit here, I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go back to Evo for a sec here. All right, here we are, Belial, right? So listen, here's the problem, right? Belial, more than like any other character we're gonna talk about here, right? Is just like the problem with Belial is that he just has everything, right? Like, short of taking tools away from him, right? I feel like it's really difficult to, like, tune Belial down, like, you know, Because I was talking about this when I was not recording too, right? But the thing is, right? For example, his command grab is not that good in a vacuum, right? It's a reactable command grab, things like that. His parry, MDP being plus on block. I mean, Far H is that good in a vacuum. His 2M being plus on block, right? Like Pinwheel, EX Pinwheel being a good projectile, and then him being able to like steal turns with like non-EX Pinwheel. There's a gap there, but if you don't do anything, he's plus a lot off of it, right? All of these things in a vacuum individually are not that bad. The problem is he has all of them. He has everything, like plus on block 2M, great, one of the best fireballs in the game. If it's not Siegfried's, it's Belial's, right? He has the plus on block 2, the MDP, right? He has Far H, which is maybe the best whiff punish button in the whole game. He has a pretty good DP too. He has his parry. He has his command grab. He has every one of these tools. Now, if we're not going to take tools away from him, which it feels like that's like taking a move away from a character, that's not balancing, right? That's horrible. What are we going to do here? And okay, we can make some of them a lot worse for sure, right? Now, for example, it is a very, very short list of characters that have a plus on block 2M, right? Gran has a plus 1 on block 2M. It's not a low. And Gran also, he has a lot of other things too, right? Narmaya gets a plus on block 2M in Kagura. But in Kagura, she gives up a lot. Like, in Kagura, she basically gives up her Midos reversal. She has a Midos reversal, but, like, it doesn't block lows outside of the U. Like, nothing outside of the U version of that blocks everything. Belial has a plus on block 2M and everything else you could ever want in a character, right? I think, and again, just, show, don't tell. Let's go to the Dustwood page here. I think, and it's a low, by the way. It's also the best plus on block 2L of all of these. Gets a low. This can just, like, not be plus on block. Is that so crazy? Like, this can just be minus, like, 2 or something, Minus 3, something like that. Yeah, it's really big. It's a low. Yeah, exactly. Like, can't this just, like, not be plus? It would still be a really good 2M, by the way, if it wasn't plus on block, no? So I think that's like, low-hanging fruit. This does not need to be plus 2, or plus 1, I don't think, right? I mean, besides that, could increase a startup? I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, 7 frames, a lot of, like, good 2M 7 frames. It could be 8, I guess, yeah, but, like, I think that's okay. I think it's the big problem here is, this doesn't need to be plus. This could be minus 2, minus 3, something like that. Djeeta Far M is like this, it's pretty big poke. It's not a low, and it's minus 3, right? This could be minus 3 or something. It's not, like, that horrible, is it? Now, funny enough, I think unironically, one of the other things is another normal here. This move, I don't know, this move is so fast, man. This is maybe the best, this is probably the best whiff punish tool in the game. Best shimmy tool in the game. I had someone say this might be the best normal in the game in chat earlier. I don't know if I would go quite that far, but this is an absurd button. This could, honestly, this could stand to be punishable on block. Now, you can cancel the first hit, so it doesn't even matter if it's punishable on block. But like if they don't, this could be punishable on block. I don't think that's like that big of a deal because he can special cancel the first hit, right? But besides that, I don't even make this slower. I guess why is this 9 frames? Like it covers more space than Ladiva Far H, right? And it's like 6 frames faster. Does this need to be 9 frame startup? Like I don't know. Couldn't you make this like 3 or 4 frames slower and have it still be really good? Yeah, it forces crouch. Yeah. Like, couldn't this get like way slower and still be really good? I think so. I think the answer is yes. Now, besides that, okay. Again, the problem. Belial is the hardest one here because just like he has every what do we do, right? Like, do we make every little? I think you make every little thing a little worse, right? Like, these like pinwheel setups where they're like the not real ones, right? The ones that he steals turns back with to get plus frames. They already have quite a lot of startup. You could make it even more, because the thing is, all Belial stuff is reactable, in quotes is how I like to say it, right? Because it's reactable in quotes because essentially he has so many things they have to worry about that his mental stack is so high that like even like a 30 frame command grab is actually pretty hard to react to a lot of the time, right? You can make the gaps on these like the fake pinwheel stuff that he used to steal plus frames back. You can make these even bigger, right? His JH is a really good jumping neutral button too, right? Like this could become smaller or something. I don't know. Like, it's tough for Belial because he is the best in the game, or the second, third, fourth, or fifth best in the game at everything, and we just have to like knock him down a little bit in every. I think Death by 1,000 cuts is really what you got to do, right? Like maybe I don't know. Maybe the MDP is plus 1 on block. But I guess at that point it's kind of useless, right? Because plus 1 on block means you just get used, you just jump him into a throw tech essentially, right? I don't know, right? But he just has so much goddamn stuff. I think just taking a little bit of everything down is a good idea, This can maybe be plus 1, so like if you're quick on the draw, you can throw him, and he can tech for it or something. This probably needs to be more points, but that's a universal thing. Every DP needs to be more minus on block, in my opinion. Like, almost all of them, right? I mean, okay, one thing for sure. You can take away this Asmodeus nonsense, right? The reset that lets him do a guaranteed combo off the guard crush on Asmodeus, right? You can take that away, I think. I think you can take that away. That doesn't need to be there. That can just go. It's worse than Siegfried's. I get it, which is why I guess they took Siegfried's and kept his, but like this shouldn't be here still. It is hard with him, man, because everything about him is just so good, right? Like I don't want to say like nerf 12 things about Belial, but you have to nerf 12 things about Belial just a little bit, right? And some of them you have to nerf a lot. Again, like I think like Far H and 2M have to be nerfed a lot, right? Like making it not plus is a big nerf. I'm not gonna say it's a small nerf, but I don't find it that bad. I mean, yeah, but it's like he just shouldn't have it. Like no one else besides him. And like Vaseraga gets one of those. Voss has to go like, I'm gonna hit you now, and then he gets it, right? Voss has to charge up for 45 frames something to do that. So yeah, JH is very good too. This could be like a little smaller or something, right? Ridiculously big hitbox, as they say here, right? Like it just every little thing about this guy needs to be a little bit worse, probably, right? I mean, we can talk about what was I gonna say? I forgot now. Yeah, this is like. You could make this slower, I guess. This is already pretty slow, right? The command grab is already like 27 frames. If you want, again, you can make this slower. Basically, you can keep Belial as the guy who like has everything, right? You can keep him as the guy who has everything, but then just make everything a little worse, right? Belial can be what do you get for the man who has everything, but just make every move of his a little bit worse. You know, make this like 30 frames instead of 27. Yeah, like because the whole thing with Belial is there's just so much to worry about that like even like a 27 frame command grab becomes pretty damn hard to react to, right? So yeah, it's a death by 1,000 cuts situation for this guy, I think. You can't like take, there's not one thing that makes Belial really good. If there is one thing, right, it's like Far H probably, right? Like if there's one thing, it's probably like Far H or 2M or something. But even that, you could like remove Far H as a button, Belial's still probably top tier, right? So it's a little bit of everything, in my opinion, right? I mean, besides, like, yeah, like those are kind of the main, like, again, his MDP, his command grab, his pinwheel turn stealing, right? His Far H, his 2M, and his and like command grab already mentioned, right? And his JH, right? Like that's a lot of shits, but like, touching a little, every one of those a little bit, and like you know, something can be a lot more reasonable. Oh, god damn! How did I forget? Why is this still the way that it is? Why is this still as big as it is? Why did every other 6XL in the game get its range touched and this one didn't? Are we missing something here? Like why is this still like why is this outside of Beatrix, who also got like another like pre-packed 6XL? It felt like why is this 6XL so big? Use and abuse me, eh? What's up with this, fellas? You know? Yeah, I guess this is another. You can make this slower too, I guess. Again, like you just make every little bit of his kit a little bit worse, a little bit easier to react to, right? But yeah, like why is this so big? What's up with this, fellas? What are we doing here? This doesn't need to be that big, right? This could be like way shorter. It could be way shorter, right? Hey, if you want to nerf again, we talked about with Nier 2. If you want to nerf a 6XL, right? This is a good way to do it to make this 7 frames, right? So then he can't combo off a 6XL. This is a lot of stuff, by the way. Maybe we shouldn't do all of this stuff, right? But like, this is all the different things that you could touch on Belial, and like most of them should happen, right? Yeah, like this probably should be 7 frames. Like I don't know, like he's just too good at everything. Like I'm not saying if you did every single thing that I'd said here to Belial, it'd probably be a little too much. It'd probably be a little bit too much. But a lot of his tools need to get a lot worse. Well, okay, some of them need to get a lot worse. This needs to get a lot worse. This needs to get a lot worse. And a lot of things get a little bit worse. This could be 7 frames, so you can't combo off 6XL. This could be like his 6XL could be a little bit smaller, right? His 6XM could be a little bit slower. You know, his projectile cancel stuff could be a little bit slower. His command grab could be a little bit slower. He should lose the guard crush on you Asmodeus, right? Just little tweaks here and there, and then a couple of big tweaks, and I think he's probably fine. Even then, by the way, Belial's probably like, even with all of this, he's probably still like pretty good, but he probably does drop down pretty significantly, right? It probably drops again like more to this kind of power level, I imagine, right? Even with literally, if you did like almost everything that I said there. So that's kind of the thoughts on Belial there, I think. All right, yeah. So Belial, we talked about Swiss Army knife. This got to make a lot of his tools a little bit worse, and then some of his tools a lot worse. You know. Okay. So Seox is interesting, right? Because Seox is kind of like Belial, not quite as much, but more so in that Seox should have probably as like a rushdown character with such oppressive offense and such good ways to skip neutral, things like that. Most characters like that, right? I'm just gonna take the example of Grimnir, right? I mean, even we can use Lancelot as this too, right? Now Lancelot's a little bit different. He can jump out of the corner pretty, like assume Lancelot, in general, right? The idea with Lancelot and with Grimnir, things like this, is supposed to be that they have bad defense, right? They are these like really like suffocating, smothering like characters, And when they get in on you, they kill you, and it's quite easy for them to get in on you. But if you find a turn on these characters, you blow them up. Now, on the flip side, Seox has all of this, but his defense is also like, you know, for parry characters, like maybe best in class, right? He's like, yeah, he's the best parry in the game. He has pretty good buttons to mash on defense too, right? He has basically like almost 2 reversals. UMTN is not really a reversal, and in the corner will be punishable, but like it moves his hitbox out real fast, right? You can use it kind of like, someone else can do this too. I can't remember who. Someone else has like a move that like really quickly shifts their hurt box up a little bit, right? Like his defense is actually pretty damn good, as it turns out, right? And that doesn't seem right. So believe it or not, I am okay. UL? Yeah, I might be thinking of the backflip. Yeah, I might be thinking of the backflip. That's right. That's also invincible, but yeah. The point is, I think Seox, believe it or not, with some like little touching maybe, I think it's okay for Seox's offense to be as crazy as it is. True, Andre's parry is also very good. That's a good point. Yeah, but Andre's parry is not, that 5U parry is in frame 1, is it? That 5U parry is frame 3, but he can combo off it, I think? Or am I misremembering? Who knows a bit of yeah, I don't know the exact details on some of his stuff. But the point is, I think Seox can have his like super powerful, super suffocating offense with maybe some slight changes. It's a, like Gate of Demons is maybe even a little bit slower. I don't know, maybe like Empty Hands is a little bit, like H Empty Hand in particular, right? U Empty Hand I think is actually, I think U Empty Hand is okay. I don't know, if you want to shoot me for that? Like, it could get nerfed, of course, but I think it could be fine. I think it could be fine if U Empty Hand wasn't touched, but I think H Empty Hand is actually a lot better, believe it or not. Maybe I'm stupid. So like, I think that could be touched in a little bit. I disagree, that's fair. I think a lot of people probably disagree with that, but it's okay. You could touch Empty Hand in general. You could touch H Empty Hand primarily, I think. You could, yeah, but in general, if his offense remains relatively the same, right? Relatively the same, but they actually give him bad defense, right? I think that could help a lot, right? That could just like I don't know, make it like, is it maybe they Narmaya his ass, like Kagra Narmaya his ass, where like his parry here is this is Belial. Maybe his parry like no parry has beats everything except for his U parry. Like he has a parry that loses to lows, one loses to overhead, something like that. You know, maybe his parry is like Lawayne, where he can trigger it and then spot dodge it, something like that, right? Like make his defense a little bit worse. Like, and by that I mean a lot worse. Make his defense a lot worse, and I think at that point you can touch his offense a little bit and have him still be have him be fine, right? Like if this was the only like true reliable reversal he had, the 50-meter one, you know, maybe that'd be fine, right? And yeah, like obviously there's a lot of things like his like Gate of Demons in general, like all versions of Gate of Demons are pretty crazy. The M version can be plus on block super easily, right? It's a real like he can still do the air fireball thing, right? Like he can just jump and air fireball, and like it's really hard to contest that in neutral at all, right? You can lower their health too. That's not a bad idea. That would also mean it would also just like skew risk reward against them a little bit more, right? But yeah, this move is pretty like basically almost all versions of this move are pretty crazy. It's pretty good get out of jail free card in terms of like it can bait Brave counter, it can be plus for free, it can bait throws, it can like this does everything for this guy, you know? Obviously Empty Hand too, right? But like I don't think I'm okay with Seox being offensively oppressive. I feel like it's the point of his character. The problem is, right, that he's supposed to pay for this in some way, right? He doesn't, right? He doesn't have lower health. He doesn't have bad defense. He doesn't have bad neutral. He doesn't pay for this in any way, and I think he should pay for it in some way. And I think that the most straightforward way is, yeah, maybe make it a little bit harder for him to cheat into neutral. Again, that's probably like some H Empty Hand nerfs or something, right? But then also, just make his defense worse in some way or another. And I think the best way to do that is probably, again, make this parry pretty bad outside of the U version. Is that a big nerf? Yes. Do I think Seox needs a big nerf? Yes. I think all of these characters, like even like most of these characters, even the ones in S rank, I think a lot of them could use a pretty sizable one, right? So like, is that a big nerf to basically like take away his middleless DP? Like make it like a Lawayne sort of situation where his only good reversals is 50-meter one? That's a big nerf. But I think you could do that and like not very much else, and I'd be happy. You know what I mean? Like do that and then like touch some of the more like slightly more absurd stuff about like Gate of Demons or Empty Hands, right? And then keep most of his like crazy offense. And I think I'm okay with him at that point, right? He just needs to have a weakness. He doesn't have a weakness. Where's the weakness? You know where's the weakness on this guy? You know what I mean? Where is his weakness? He doesn't have one. Give him one and we're fine. He can be really strong he can be like the best offensive character in the whole game if he wants to be. He needs a weakness. He doesn't have one currently. That's what I think. I think he needs a weakness. That's it, right? I think that's too much to ask. All right, what are we doing? Okay, so the rest of these characters, we can talk about them too, I guess. Yeah, this video is already 48 minutes long. I don't want to make it too much longer, right? We gotta talk a little bit about some like notable standouts, I think, in different characters, I think could be taken down a peg, right? I think obviously you can like probably touch a lot of different people a lot of different ways, but like just, you know, kind of a speed round, I suppose, right? Djeeta is probably fine, a lot more fine if her ultimate skills are like basically like not removed, but like made a lot worse, right? Like we can go over here real quick, right? I think Djeeta is strong in a lot of ways, right? But I think she will be a lot more normal, right? If her corner carry too, for sure, yeah. You can touch her corner carry, absolutely, right? But like I think one of the things that makes her like really, really oppressive, especially at some of the higher levels, right, is this, and especially actually even more so almost this, right? Like both of these are a lot, right? And I don't know exactly like this. I mean, this could maybe just like not. It's 13 frames, right? Most things that are this fast are close to or punishable on block, right? This could be punishable on block. I don't know if this needs to be safe. Honestly, like you should be able to just throw this shit out in neutral, in my opinion, right? I think this could just be -6 because that's so bad. Like would that break the character? I don't think so. It's gonna be -6, I think. This one's a little bit more interesting. You could certainly like make this like Grand U Fireball, which you can't combo off this. If you make this not wall bounce anymore, that's kind of a big deal, right? But is that, excuse me, sorry, is that too much? Maybe? I think you can make this not wall bounce. So even if she hits you meaty with it, it like doesn't get a lot of damage, and it just gets, it's just a nice way to get plus frames if she wants, right? The only wall bounce on counter hits, yeah. But you maybe make it not wall bounce at all, ever? You think both of those nerf splitter mid-tier stats are together? I mean, yeah. Honestly, like, is that like if she's like down here, is that such a problem? Like I feel like again, like this, like rough. If I could aim for it, right? I feel like this right here, like roughly, like where I think maybe we might disagree that Narmaya's here. But this where Narmaya is, where I think she is. If everyone could be there, I'd be pretty happy. You know what I mean? Like she's strong, but she has some very notable weaknesses. Things that are good about her, things that are bad about her. But overall, she feels strong for sure to me, right? If everyone could end up here, I'd be quite happy. Narm, most balanced character confirmed. In like some ways, right? I think she's at a very good power level, right? When I think of Narmaya, I think that's like, you know, that's a good. You can like make some things less jank and give her some other stuff, take some stuff away. But like overall, her power level is good. Now, maybe both those things are too much for Djeeta. If so, I mean, you can just make this. You can just make this unsafe on block, and like, okay, you can maybe touch the corner carry on her Rekka a little bit. Oh, like I think it's the thing that makes her special, right? It's the thing that makes her special, so I don't think you should be like, she should still have really good corner carry. That's her thing, right? Maybe it could be a little worse. Tiny bit worse, right? But realistically, again, I think Djeeta, you know, you touch the ult skills. I don't want to remove her, like Djeeta plays this like whiff punish footsie game, and then the point is, when she wins that footsie game, she gets a lot of reward off of it, right? She has lots of good buttons for like, she has good walk speed, she can walk back and walk forward, like she has good buttons for like punishing whiffs, good buttons to space you out, right, things like that, right? She has a good 6XL, and the idea is that it does this like this whole walk back, walk forward thing. And then when she wins that game, she gets a lot of reward off of it because of her corner carry. And then in the corner, she's kind of scary, right? That's the whole point of the character. So I don't want to like remove that. Oh, I guess, yeah, I mean, if you want to, she can combo off of you, yeah, off of her DP and stuff like that, sure. You could give her a little bit less corner carry, sure. I think it should still be good, though. I think it should still be good, right? It should still be good. I don't think it should be like Gran or even close. I think it should be a lot better than Gran. It's kind of one of the things that makes her special, right? But yeah, her U skills are a little bit crazy. I mean, there's one thing here. She can combo off this DP. Like, if this hits really late, her ultimate Rising Sword. Wait, no, this one. If this hits really late into the animation, it's always an anti-air, but she can combo off this, right? In Game Star, okay, we'll go back in a second. Maybe they shouldn't be able to do this. It's got a little situational, but like maybe she shouldn't be able to do this. You know what I mean? But like Djeeta's not. Again, I think you just, you know, touch one or both of the ultimate skills. Maybe just one. Maybe just this. You know, make this -6, and maybe make this not wall bounce even on counter hit, and then maybe make her corner carry a little bit worse. Maybe all three of those are too much. Mix and match. But yeah, Djeeta's not like, she's not horrendous. Like she's fine. She's strong. She's very strong. But I think like it's not that hard to make her a little bit more reasonable. Is what I'm getting at. We talked about Djeeta. I think we're good on Djeeta. I mean, okay, so we're not gonna go over literally everyone, right? Yeah, Jate's a kind-looking fellow for sure. What do we want to say? I mean, okay. Lancelot, there's a couple things, right? I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I'm just bad. I might just be bad, okay? His wall jump is a real problem. No, like again, I was talking about like earlier with Seox, similar idea. Lance is supposed to have bad defense, right? It's the idea, right? His buttons aren't super good. They're pretty stubby. Right, he doesn't have a meterless DP. right? Like, but I feel like he just if you put this guy in the corner, he just gets out. Maybe that's a Lodiva problem. I don't know. Maybe other people have an easier time getting him in, but like that, I don't know if like what to do about that. That feels like it kind of goes against the whole idea, you know? Yeah, I guess yeah, it probably is matchup dependent. Maybe Lodiva just has a harder time with it than other people because she's like slow or something. She can anti-air decently, right? Yeah, true. Sora's JU probably pretty good against it. Not bad, not bad. But I mean, besides that, okay. Here's one thing, right? This probably shouldn't exist in its current state at all. And it is. Can you guess? Can you guys guess? Not this. This. Why is this +2 on block? It's not. You know, it's no Nier 2-2U, right? But like, why is this U skill like neutral skip +2 on block? He doesn't get that much reward off of it. I get it, right? I get it. But like, this feels like it shouldn't be plus on block. You know what I mean? Like, maybe safe. It's pretty fast, so like maybe punishable. Again, like most U skills that like we saw every other U skill, right? All the 11 frame U skills, Grim Nier, Bionic Arm, Anil is cheap, right? Everything that's 11 frames is -6 on block. Why is this +2? Again, he doesn't combo off it. That's why. I get it, right? The difference is it doesn't combo off it. It's punishable if you spot dodge. No, if you spot dodge, it only does the first 2 hits. So I think he's much more plus if you spot dodge, right? So I think you can't spot dodge this. You can't, like, when you block it, it's plus. It's really hard to challenge. Jumping over it is also, because on whiff, I guess, yeah, maybe that's one thing, huh? Make it so on whiff, if you make it do the whole animation on whiff, it'll kill spot dodge. It's active for too long, right? If you make it do the whole thing on whiff, you can at least jump over it, right? You can jump over it then, maybe, but it's also so fast. It just feels a little, like, this move feels a little, like, something about it, all its stats are too high, you know? I don't think it should be punishable, because the reward on this is much lower than the reward on, like, Anil's Sheep or Grim Nier's Bionic Arm, right? This could be minus, though. This could be, like, -3, safe on block. Would that be so? I think it could help, right? I mean, besides that, Lance is, I mean, this, you know, he's just, again, can I see the final tier list? Well, yeah, we can take a look in a second here, nothing. A lot of things about Lance are obviously quite good, right? I'm kind of okay with the idea of him being, again, like, just like Seox, I think I'm okay with him having aggressive offense, right? There's a couple of things, like, I think, again, tuning him further in the direction of, like, okay, well, then he should be pretty bad at, like, stopping you from sending him to hell if it's not his turn, right? His turn should be scary. His neutral should probably be worse then. A little bit. Like, maybe, you know, this too, right? This, right? Like, EX Fireball. Make it faster is probably a good idea, right? It sounds kind of weird. If you make, it's kind of like what we said with Siegfried. If you make this faster, Lance has a much harder time putting this out and then running behind it, right? This is also, like, it's very similar to, like, Siegfried. It's not as good as Siegfried EX Fireball, but, like, it's in a similar vein, right? Making it so he has a harder time, maybe, like, not making, if it's not gonna be making faster, it's gonna be something else. Like, make it so he has a harder time throwing this out and then just running behind it to just, like, get in on you for free, right? If he's gonna be as scary as he is when he gets up to you, that it should either be, like, harder for him to get in on you, or he should have even worse defense if you get in on him, right? And he's not really, I think in both, though, the reason, for example, a lot of people are getting on my ass for having him here and Seox here, right? But the big reason that I think I have Seox above Lance is that I think Seox has an easier time cheating in on you and has better defense than Lancelot does, right? Like, this idea of, like, they're this rushdown character with no weakness. I feel like Lancelot has more weaknesses than Seox in that sense, right? Maybe Lance's offense is a little bit scarier, but I think they're both close. Like, their offense is both smothering and insane and absurd, and their damage is really high, and their corner carry is insane and all that, right? But Seox has an easier time getting in on you, and he has better defense. So that's why I have Seox up here and Lance down here. Though Lance is still very good, right? But yeah, in a similar vein, you could touch his neutral a bit with the fireball. You could touch his defense a lot, maybe. Maybe his neutral, like, one of those two things, right? One of those two things. But otherwise, I think, like, Lance, you know, he feels a lot like making you fireball spot dodgeable on reaction feels like a really good change, and I kind of downplayed it when it first happened, and I was wrong. I think it was a good nerf, and I think I downplayed it too much. I can be a bigger man. Well, I was like, oh, who cares? Like, what? He didn't get nerfed at all. I think that was a big change. I think that was actually a pretty nice nerf. Good stuff, Cygames. Zeta is weird, right? Because you might just be like, oh, make her use skills worse. I still am of the opinion that Zeta is a lot more than her use skills, right? I mean, you could just make her use skills worse, right? If Zeta's use skills weren't as dominant as they were, she would just be like a character. She would be like kind of similar. She would be kind of similar in a lot of ways. You lost me more than her use skills, dude. Nothing. You can say whatever you want. Pogo Mix is real, and she has a fuzzy. She has an actual, like, she has, like, you know, like, she has a real, like, off of hard knockdowns, a, like, honest to God 50-50 fuzzy that loops into itself. Yes, she's more than her use skills for sure, right? But at the same time, if her use skills were like a lot more normal, maybe at that point she's just like a character with like decent neutral and like okay corner carry and like she's scary in the corner. So like maybe the answer to Zeta is to just make her use skills a lot worse, you know? Yeah, like maybe it is this. Maybe let's remove Arves, you know? Because I think he's still good at that point, by the way, right? I'm going to firmly push back on the Zeta is just a use skill merchant agenda, right? Zeta has decent neutral. She has a really scary parry, and her mix in the corner is like truly like very, very good, right? She has a lot of like, she can do like a lot of empty like fake meaties. She has a lot like the pogo mix is not fake. Everyone keeps telling me it's fake. That shit is not fake. You are lying if you say it's fake. She has a real fuzzy off of hard knockdowns, like an actual straight up guess, like a 50-50, like that, right? Like she's actually good. But yeah, maybe just make it so you can't do use skill, and then she's fine. I don't know how you do that while still making them like, you know, like useful. Because you want her to still get return off of hitting these use skills. But you don't want to make like, you want to be able to still probably like most characters, you probably still be able to combo off of these use skills, right? So I don't know how you make it so you can still combo off them like maybe a normal way, but not into another use skill. I don't know. But in some way or another, like tuning down her use skills, I mean, maybe making them a lot less safe on block, because technically they're punishable, right? But a lot of times she bounces back far away enough that like she's punishable. And like you're supposed to spot dodge these, but they're also like kind of in the faster class, like, you know, that's 12 frames right there. It's like a little hard to react to in spot dodge, right? So like maybe you can just make it so like the use skills are still really good, but like she like goes to hell if you block them. Thoughts? Make Arvis actually go on cooldown when you do this? Well, the problem is, yeah, I guess, yeah, fair enough. Well, the thing is you can just use it anyway, because then it will do half damage if you use a use skill when it's on cooldown, right? That's something. Yeah, that's definitely an option. I mean, another thing, you could possibly make it so like these things are like really punishable on block, right? Like she just goes to hell if you block this. That could happen. You can make like minus 15 or something on block, right? Minus like maybe all your skills minus 8 minimum. Maybe like that could be a solution. But yeah, also like removing some way like combo into it. Maybe not both of those things, right? One or the other. But yeah, I think Zeta probably is pretty fine. Like she probably does move down to this like rough. He's probably like a very similar character to Narmaya, actually, if you take that away, right? In a lot of ways. So I probably would be okay with that. Listen, man, I have like 6 videos about Beatrix. I still think that the big problem with Beatrix is command grab, move speed, 2-2H, and that shit hasn't been touched. And until it is, I don't think it's gonna be bad. I don't think it can be bad until that's touched. You can nuke her damage all you want, right? You can do it. You can make everything punishable on block, right? Unreactable, full screen, like mid screen, combo starter with clock, or you know, from pretty close to the corner, from pretty far from the corner, still combo starter in mid screen. That is like, yeah, like you force your respect her, sit down, right? And then when you're sitting down, she runs up at you and enforces mix. And because it has a command grab, that mix is, you know, really scary. It's a 50-50. Sorry, goddamn, I'm talking too fast. It's a 50-50, that mix, right? And then at that point, it makes her very, very, very good, in my opinion, the best character in the game at finding counter-hit close H's. So even with her nerf damage, she's often still hitting really hard because she can get those close H starters very often if you fear command grab. And if you don't fear command grab, now 2-2H gets even worse because now she has clock, and now it becomes like a true full screen combo starter, right? No matter where you are, essentially, right? So they nerfed her, and again, I will stick to my guns. I think Arxis, I think they had an idea. And they may accomplish that idea. But I still think you need to touch 2-2H, her move speed, or her command grab, or this character will never, ever, ever be bad. Ever. Right? So, yeah. Kag's interesting. Kag's, there's also, yeah, he rolls back. Kag's, there's a couple of, we can talk about Kag in a second here. We'll talk about Kag in a second here. There's like, it's like, if you remove like one thing, Kag falls apart like a house of cards, I think. We'll talk about it in a second. Oh, okay, here's the thing, right? Kag. Now, here's the thing. I think Kag is supposed to be a zoner. I think they wanted Kag to be a zoner. So, thoughts? I think they should buff Kag zoning, like a lot. I think Kag should be a lot better at zoning, personally. Just like, you know, don't let her, like, you know, maybe she can't combo off her. She's not, yeah, but she probably should be a zoner, right? I think she's intended to be a zoner, personally. It feels like they want her to be a zoner, but then they just, like, didn't give her very good zoning. You know what I mean? Her setups are insanely fun? I guess, yeah, but I think her setups are also, like, really stupid, personally, right? Like, I think that's the part of her, like, the part of her that feels strong to me is, if she's meant to be a setup character, then, like, I don't know, it just needs to be, like, Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? This move, right here. this move. Right, way to go. I'm lost. No, not you. This one, right? But oh, they don't have a visual for it. The air version of this, right? You can close L delay mash this technically, but if you're gonna stand up delay mash, you know, there's lots of counterplay to that. Most of the time, if you try and delay tech with like 2L or something like most people do, right? You're gonna die. This is gonna kill you. And this makes it very scary to deal with Cagliostro throws, right? And then if her throws are hard to beat, she can combo off her throws into the traps, right? So like it's that like this is like the one main thing I think that that makes me think the Cag is strong, right? With that in mind, I don't know how you remove this because I mean this is not even it's not that it's frame one invuln, it's basically the hitbox, right? It's not like a reversal. It's the hitbox on it, right? So like I don't know. Maybe if she couldn't. Is it too much to say she can't combo off the air version of this? I'm like, by the way, in exchange, I think you should buff her zoning, right? It's frame 13? I mean, yeah, but again, like, if you're 2L'ing or something, your total animation is longer than that, Nezu, right? In exchange, I think they can make her a better zoner, right? But, like, her being, like, so scary to delay tech against, and then being able to combo off of her throw, like, the combination of those two things is what makes me feel like this character is a little bit silly, right? You're gonna ride if you buff her zoning, but I think if you take away, like, her, like, the very scary, if you like make her pressure in the corner a lot worse, right? Then you have to like give her a little bit. Yeah, if it's a mix of zoning and set play, if you're gonna make the set play a little bit worse, you should make the zoning a little bit stronger, right? You shouldn't just like nerf her to the ground, right? So I think like or if you're gonna make the throw bait set play worse, make some other stuff better. I don't know, but this to me is like the part of the silly part of this character, right? Is the combination of spare body and comboing off of like air J2-H and comboing off a throw is silly, right? Yeah, close 5L is a scary thing to delay tech with, Nezu, because if you're standing up to delay tech, like lows exist, right? Is the problem. You're right. You can close 5L this, but like lows exist this, right? So like lows exist. If you're gonna stand up to close 5L, you just run up low you and you're in a 50-50 basically at that point, right? When she has corner, yes. Well, sure. I mean, outside of corner, it's not scary at all. Yeah, you're right. Outside of corner, it's not that bad at all. I'm talking about in the corner, in the set play setup, correct? So, I think if you nerf this down somehow, I think you should give her something else somewhere. I think this is a huge part of what makes the character so strong, in my opinion, right now. So if you take this away, or if you make it a lot worse, I think that you should get something else somewhere. And probably that thing is making her zoning a little bit better. If she's intended to do this like weird mix of like he's kind of a zoner and like mostly a set play character. If you make the set play in the corner a little bit worse, you should make the zoning a little bit better, I feel like, right? Again, because like, especially with how hostile this game is zoning baseline, giving her a little bit better zoning is not gonna let her like wall out the whole cast or anything, right? Is it gonna make her harder for La Diva? Probably, sure, but I don't care. It's fine. Bad match will be bad matchups. That's how it goes. But yeah, there's not a lot here. Like it's this for me. It's this like spare body J2-H in the corner is the thing, right? And I don't think like her coming off throws, like the fact that she can combo off her throw is like you can't take that away. That's like taking away how traps work entirely, right? So if you can't take that away, you should make this less scary, right? You should make it delay throw tech against her more viable, right? In my opinion. Okay, so let's just I want to talk about actually like certain standout things of different characters before we move on here, right? And we're basically closing in on the end of things here, and we got to go back soon here, but yeah, I guess we'll go back because there's a match right now. We'll go back. We gotta talk about like probably some like characters that I think could be a little bit more balanced essentially in how they play. Even like something that get like kind of like Cag. Take something that's very strong away from them and give them something better in exchange, right? We'll get back in a second here because I gotta go watch this top 24 match though. All right, God, it's been a long. Listen, I've been recording this video over the course of 4 hours, so it might be long for you. It's been even longer for me. Don't worry about it. We're almost done. I want to give like an example of maybe this other character that can apply to. I'm just gonna give one example of another character I think who is like actually not very good, I don't think, but I think they could be rebalanced to be like you could take one thing away from them and make a lot of other stuff better, right? Kind of like Cag, right? This guy right here, right? I don't think Vaseraga is very good. And you can see this is the tier list I made. I put him pretty low. He's technically, I think he's just barely bottom 10, right? But with that in mind, oh boy, is this a move, right? Man, this sure is a move, right? This is a hell of a move. Now, the character is still, even with this, not very good. But I think you could make Voss a little bit more less of like a gimmick character, basically, and make him a little bit less annoying to fight in some cases. If you just made this move a lot worse and made everything else about him way better. You know what I mean? Like this, I think there's a couple of characters you could probably say this about too, right? But like, you could just make this, like you could make this a lot less threatening, and then buff like everything else, like make this DP better, right? Make his buttons a little bit faster. I don't know. Make like the stance options a little bit harder to react to. I don't know. Like make Soul Forge quicker. Make the armor start up on Soul Forge fast. I don't know, right? Anything. But you can buff like a lot of shit about Vaseraga, and then just take this away. Not away, but like make it a lot worse, right? Because right now Vas is basically not a character until this moves online, and then he's actually pretty scary, right? So it's very weird. He's like such a Vas. If he has you tackle on deck, or if he doesn't, it's night and day. Even more so if he doesn't have Soul Forge, right? But yeah. So Vas is a good example of a character I think who could like be made a lot healthier, and I think he could get buffed too. Like his overall power level could go up, sure. But like this is just such a unhealthy way to design a character. I feel like, right? He is a gimmick. He is this, and Soul Forge to be fair, obviously. But like this is so much of Vasaraga's power budget is in this one move that it feels weird. I'm not saying it's literally everything. It's a lot though. So if you just make this a lot worse. Makes the reward on hit worse, something, right? And then buff 7 or 8 different things about him. That would be a good way to make him a little bit more healthy, and probably makes him a little bit. I imagine I'm not a Voss player. I'm gonna be soon, but I imagine this makes him a little bit more fun to play too. If he's not just like relying on this one shotgun that he has, everything else is kind of worthless, right? So there's a lot of other characters like that too. I'm not gonna go into every single one of them, right? I guess we can talk very quickly, real quick. We're back. We're real quick, right? Yeah, real quick. We're gonna talk about the fellows down here, some of them, right? Not all of them, some of them. Honestly, maybe disable in vain, because these three are kind of like they are the way they are, like on purpose. Basically, I don't think they're gonna change. I don't think they should change, right? We can talk about these two a couple here, a little bit here, but we're gonna do it after, I guess, in the final ab break of Evo probably, or maybe after even the bracket's done. We'll be back in a second though. All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is basically just like some of these low tiers and like kind of why I feel like, in my opinion, they are bad by design. And probably should be like, the game should be a little bit, Cygames should be a little bit careful buffing them, right? Now, I've talked about Ladiva, I think, at length. The point is, right, again, but Ladiva, Natera, and Fairy are actually like more similar than you think. Vayne kind of too, in a similar vein, right? In the sense of like, these are characters that have very, very strong strengths, and they are balanced by having absurdly glaring weaknesses, right? So you want to make sure if you buff those characters, you don't buff them. Basically, like, if you think that, like, Siegfried or Belial or Seox top tier is bad, trust me, you would hate, like, a top tier Ladiva way, way, way more, right? Nier is actually kind of similar, right? And, like, how much you despise Nier is probably kind of similar to how much you would despise some of these characters, right? If they were buffed as high as they could go, right? So, like, personally, like, for example, as a Ladiva main, I don't really see a lot of, like, need for Ladiva buffs. And it's also the fact that, like, Ladiva is also not that bad for most of the cast. Like, I put her in B tier, like, the bottom 5 roughly, right? But, like, for most of the player base, Ladiva probably is, like, closer to, like, here or something, right? Like, he's pretty damn good outside of, like, maybe, like, S++ / like, Master / like, obviously tournament level play. He gets worse and worse and worse the better you get at the video game, basically, right? So, like, I wouldn't really care too much to buff these guys. Vayne, okay, but there are some things that just, like, don't work about some of these characters, right? Right? And I'm gonna kind of zone in on Vayne for a second here, because he's the DLC character. I think it's the most disappointing that he's this bad, right? He could be plus on something, right? Like, just like you have to, like, again, you gotta be careful. If you buff Vayne too much, he'd be very oppressive very easily. You give him some kind of plus frames somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, just something. I don't know. Like, that would be a nice, at least a nice, like, Vayne's new. So, like, maybe, like, don't really, like, hyper buff him, but, like, for a nice little stepping stone, give him, like, something that's plus on block. That he's, like, has easy, like, a little bit easier access plus frames. And then we see, is he still kind of ass? Okay, we took him a little bit more. I don't think he should be, like, again, he's new enough still, and people don't really play him as much because he's bad, to the point that, like, he might still be a little bit unexplored, right? So let's give him a little bit of a thing and see how that feels, right? Give him a little bit more plus frames, see how it goes. If he's still ass, we buff him again next patch, right? Avatar's interesting, right? Because Avatar is, you could just give him more health, right? You could just give him, if Avatar has, because again, Avatar does not have 14,000 health. Avatar has 11,000 to 10,000 health, roughly. He spends about 3,000 to 4,000 of his own health every round to do the things that make him special, right? To do the things that he pays with his health for, he has to spend his health, right? So, you could give him, like, if you gave Avatar, if you had like 16,000 health, he would actually have like 13,000 health, right? But again, Avatar is very good outside of his health, right? So yeah, you gotta be very careful. Right, this kind of last point I want to make here is you got to be very careful with some of these low tiers, because they are low tier. They're not low tier like, like Lucius, he's kind of like, his stat is kind of low, right? Lucy's his overall stats, for the most part, is a little bit low, right? This is not the case here. A lot of these characters are very, very, very good at one or two things. They just like suck ass at everything else, right? If you short up those weaknesses too much, right, it will get really, really bad really, really fast, is the idea. We're not going to go too into depth into it, though, because this video is already an hour and 14 minutes long. So I'm just going to call it there. We're going to see patch 1.5, major balance patch. Very exciting. I want to see what they're going to do with the game. We talked about a lot of stuff. I'm not going to summarize it all. You can go back and have timestamps in the video, right? But again, the universal changes and the nerfs to certain top tiers are the most important things, in my opinion. Everything else, you know, they can play around. I'd like to see what they do. I don't think it's like that hard to do something that's right there, right? But like, in my opinion, the things that we mentioned at the beginning of the video are the most important things. So we did them at the beginning, right? For now, I'm just gonna do it for me on this video here. I hope you guys had a good time watching. I had a good time making it, even though I thought it was gonna be, I was talking about as a joke in chat earlier. I thought it was gonna be 40 minutes. It's an hour and 15, so my bad. But you know how it is. As always, answer all likes, comments, subscribes, bells in this video. It'll be greatly appreciated. Not just because they help the algorithm, they do, but they also help me, the human, know if you guys like this kind of stuff. Should I make more videos like this? Should I make fewer videos like this? You guys let me know. Besides that, I also stream on Twitch. I do it every day from 9 to 5 Eastern time, so come by and hang out. Link in the description down there. Also, I have a Discord if you want to join that. ! Discord in the stream if you're in the Twitch right now and you're not in the server. If you're in the YouTube, link in the description down there. It's a great place, good community, lots of nice people, lots of good players. If you want to learn stuff, if you want to get better at the game, it's a good place. If you want to make friends, it's a good place. So I encourage you to join. Just be nice, or I'll shoot you in the head in Minecraft. Most importantly, hope you guys had a great time hanging out today. As always, I know I sure did. Yeah, I'm very, very excited for patch 1.5. I am optimistic because again, the Vayne patch was too small, but it was a step in the right direction in every direction, basically, right? For the most part. So I am very optimistic for patch 1.5. I'm excited to see when the patch notes drop. It's probably gonna be like 2 weeks from now. We're getting a little bit of leaks already at Evo. Like, you know, Grand's been buffed, Lucy's been buffed. Maybe Brave counter is a little bit worse. Maybe Nier's damage is a little bit lower. We don't know, but I'm excited to see what happens. For now, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.